I'm Zim, and you're listening to the Helpful Photographer Podcast in collaboration with New York City Photo Safari. To register for a safari, please visit newyorkcityphotosafari.com. This pod is for Vinny on Long Island. Vinny has been on several international trips with me and wants to know how I research my locations. So today, it's travel and photography planning. If you've ever traveled, you might have noticed that there are two types of people: the planners and the spontaneous adventurers. And let me tell you, I'm definitely a planner. When I fly across the globe, I need to know where I'm going, what time to be there, and of course, how and where to capture the best shots. I'm not one to leave things to chance. But don't get me wrong, being a planner doesn't mean there's no room for spontaneity. It just means I can make sure I get the most out of my trip. And if I stumble upon something amazing, I have the flexibility to adapt. I know what I'm giving up for it. But how do I make sure I'm prepared before I even step foot in the destination? Research. Lots and lots of research. And to be clear, pretty much all my trips revolve around photography and getting some great shots. My planning process begins with knowing what time sunrise and sunset are for that location. And that's easy. Timeanddate.com is my go-to for that info. Here's a little pro tip for you. If you're in a Muslim country, you can ask anyone the time for the first call to prayer. It's called Al-Fajr. It happens about 30 minutes before sunrise. I like to show up about 45 minutes to an hour before sunrise. So if you arrive about 15 to 30 minutes before the first call to prayer, you're all set. Another trick I use is checking an ephemeris app to see which direction the sun is going to rise or set relative to where I'm photographing. These apps are really helpful and also give you the time and direction for moon rises and moon sets. I double check satellite maps too, because you don't want to be surprised by a mountain or a building casting a shadow over your perfect shot. It's all about knowing exactly where to be for the best light. Oh, one more thing. Make sure your time zones are accurate. I learned that lesson the hard way. I was in Sweden last year waiting for the sunset and had completely forgot they'd just changed the clocks for daylight savings that day. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't getting dark. As for figuring out where I want to go, the internet is your best friend. These days, there are so many travel bloggers out there that a good web search can reveal tons of hidden gems. Here's the key. Don't stop at the first few pages of Google. Dig deeper. That's where the real treasures are. Once I find something interesting, I dive into satellite maps to explore the area. Both Bing and Google Maps have images attached to specific locations, and I scroll through them to see if anything stands out. If I find a spot I've never heard of, it's time to dig even deeper to figure out how to access it and what I need to do to get those photos. So that's a little peek into how I plan my trips and photo shoots. Planning ahead gives me the opportunity to make the most out of every destination while still leaving room for unexpected adventures. In the next episode, I'll talk about what equipment I bring with me. I hope that was helpful. Until next time, keep on shooting.